Good evening, Arun.
Good evening, sir.
So, how's your progress going?
Sir, it's going pretty well. There are a few parts in week six that I'm being stuck in, but then
Okay,
out of through research and all, I'm able to clarify all that, sir.
okay. What specifically weeks 6 you're stuck with?
Sir, to be exact, I'll have to open my notes for that. So just a second.
Okay. Hey, good evening, Bruce, Sima. Oh, this is connection problem. Good evening, Anna Tavali. Hey, Sudhans. Hello, Ajit.
Hello, sir.
How are you guys progressing on project 2 and other things? Yeah, go ahead, Telvin.
Clarkton, did you discuss with Anand sir on the meeting regarding that ROE scores?
Yeah, so we did raise the issue of the scores. He said the scores are going to be pushed today.
Okay.
It wasn't pushed yesterday. So can you just check and see on your dashboard what score you have received?
I checked now it was the same only. It did not increase.
Oh, it did not change. It hasn't gone to 7.
Operations team yet.
Okay. I'll just send a quick note to JK then just now and let him know.
Yeah.
Okay.
And one more thing about the project part,
Mhm.
I tried to deploy universal.
Okay.
Just I started with two to three questions. So I faced one issue is that we have to handle our files right while processing. So in
Yeah.
Vercel, I am not able to upload the file and handle it.
So when you say handle the file, you're talking about sending a file into the endpoint, is it?
Yeah, sending the file into the input and processing it.
Okay. So one thing is the file itself might not be sent as a post through the API. What will happen is there may be hmm, there may be a link, I would suspect, because I don't think files will be sent
Yeah.
to the API call itself.
I am confused on that part. Also, I have seen like blob storage based files, but still I am not able to get how the file handling will be there.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
to test that one, I tried to call from my own system, having a
sure.
file on my current drive,
Yeah,
current folder, and tried to get that post request, but it's not fetching, it's giving internal error only.
okay.
But
Let
for
me,
JSON based questions, it's giving correctly response because it's serverless, right? It does
yeah,
not
yeah,
belong, right?
yeah. I mean, there's no binary upload going on, right, for
Yeah, so
JSON.
file handling based questions, it's facing the issue due to this one. So
Yeah.
I need a clarity on that, how we can do.
Just give me 1 second. I'll just make notes for this, because then I can discuss it with Anand as well. So, Delvin, can you just give me your, oh no, I have it here. 22
Excuse
F2,
me?
it's 22 F200160, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
file handling. Right. So as far as the task is concerned, right, for whatever GA it is, there are two aspects to file handling. One is they will just send you, they won't send you the actual file, but in the request itself, they might send you the link of where to pick the file up from. So then what happens is your endpoint uh, processes it in a function. In other words, it doesn't get the file through the endpoint. Rather, it uses a function within the application itself, your application, to fetch the file from somewhere, like from a GitHub repo, for example.
Yeah, it's fine, but to process that file, we cannot use GitHub itself, right? We have to process it in background, right?
I'm
Like,
not
for
sure I
example,
understood the
no,
question.
I
So,
am just saying, like, if you want to search like some keyword in the file, we can get that content full of the text file and we can search that one. That's fine. But
yeah.
if you want to extract a zip file, like extract a zip file to something else and get the hash map of that or share hash function, then we have to extract the file. Without extracting, we cannot do anything, right?
Yeah.
That's the point. So file processing wise, we cannot do anything. Also, I am facing issue in URL also handling. So
Okay.
URLs also they have
Can
given.
can you give me a specific example? I'll make notes of
Yeah,
the specific doubt here.
yeah. File handling is the same question which was asked in like TDS portal itself, right? That itself is not working.
Uh, which
Project
JS?
no project two example they have given, right?
Right. One second.
Yeah, I will. That example itself is not working. I did till that only. I was facing issue in that.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Question: download equal to unzip
Yeah,
file to a single extracted.
that's GA 6 or something. I don't remember exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. Download the one. Right. Okay. I'll
Yeah, this is
just
the point.
clarify. Yeah. I'll just clarify to that because at the end of the
I
day,
can tell you the exact number also.
yeah, because he will create the evaluation for it. You see. So I'll just clarify with him
Yeah, 8.
how do you want students to approach
GA
this.
1.8. It's
GA 1.8, right?
yeah. Till 7 I did it. 8 it's been stuck.
I mean,
And
meanwhile, what I would suggest is continue working on the the other functions. Yeah, don't just stay
no,
fixated on.
it's like it's multiple of 7 functions we have like files handling only.
Mhm.
Yeah, after that we have one HTML handling. We have to get the div tags and all. That also, I tried it using LLM, but it's saying we cannot access your HTML page itself.
Okay, one second.
Yeah. So
Right.
in GA one it will be
Yeah.
stuck.
Sorry. So the second question was specifically with regards to
Second question was with regards to GA 111.
111.
Yeah, 11 is like CSS based.
Let me do one thing. Let me share the screen also so that
Yeah,
it's easy for everyone to see what's happening as
yeah,
well.
yeah. People may not
Uh,
understand.
Because otherwise it becomes a very difficult conversation for others to follow. Mm, so this is the one. Okay. So you're talking about question one.
Yeah, no, from first
That,
question will go. First question will go. So first question, I have a hard coded answer here.
hmm,
Okay, it's fine. Second question, I have hard coded on my own email. It's based on email based question. JSON
okay.
response.
The right. Okay. Here. Okay. Here's the question for you. So, what if the parameter we send is not your email?
Then it will fail.
Okay.
But
Because
we cannot understand right the structure. It's not defined. It's not right. They are told to solve the GA question.
yeah.
So here parameters are not defined. If that's the case, then everything can be parameters, right? We have to have a structure. No,
Okay.
email we
Let
can do
me.
for JSON thing. We can just replace the JSON content and just search my email and replace it with some other email. That's fine. I can do it.
Okay. Anyway, let me. Questions be parameterized. See, I think the questions will be parameterized. Okay. It may be the GA question, but
Yeah.
I suspect it might be parameterized. Now, whether it's parameterized with your own email, that I'm not sure. If it is,
No,
then of course you can
if
hard
it's
code it.
parameterized, then which and all will be changing parameter we cannot determine, right? That's pretty hard, right?
Yeah.
That's why only I am thinking it whether email the only field it will be parameterized or any other field.
Yeah. So, I mean, so this is not difficult. Yeah. What happens is you send a request in your function to this endpoint with whatever the parameter is, right? The email will be, say, here it's 22F300, whatever.
Yeah.
But when you send it, the request will come back with a response. That response is what the answer to this question will be.
Yeah, that's the answer is so.
So you don't have to hard code it, right?
No, it's correct, but I hard coded because I can ensure that it's correct answer, right? Not
Ah,
with
okay, okay. Oh, right. Understood. You just wanted to check, but just
yeah, because testing is the first thing, right? We had to do.
sure, sure.
Yeah.
Just
So
make a running checklist of things you need to parameterize them,
yeah,
because others you might
yeah,
forget, because there are so
and
many functions.
yeah,
Right?
and email we can parameterize because extract using regex and get it out. That's fine. And npx I did directly only.
Okay. Now, one thing is, I don't want to make this session completely about going question by question over
No, no, I will just
50
tell them.
questions.
Yeah,
So
1.8, 1.8.
1.8, yeah, because then this will not. Okay.
Yeah,
So this is so here the question was whether how will the file be sent, and right now it looks like in the example they're given that they will send the file a small file directly into your Vercel app, and you're saying you don't know how to process files within the
we
Vercel
cannot
function
process
itself.
that within Vercel because it's serverless and request will change. Like the processing time will change every second. It will be breaking, so we cannot process it either.
Okay. Anyone else have attempted this question 8? Have a solution?
Yes, sir. So I did this question and I got the answer as well, but I haven't hosted it on Vercel. I did it on local host. I was able to get the answer for this question.
Okay. Yeah. I mean that of course localhost you'll be able to get
Yes,
no
sir.
problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. True. True. And here's the other thing, by the way. That's a good point to make, which is the actual. So if we let's look over your project two. If we look at the evaluation right, prerequisites, GitHub repo, GitHub repo. Uh, okay. I'm just trying to see if there is a absolute necessity that it should be a Vercel endpoint, and it says your application must expose an API endpoint. There is no hard and fast rule it should be hosted by Vercel. Okay, so that's just something to keep in mind.
No,
Uh,
then if it's local endpoint, how will we run full time? We have to make our system run. How will we do it?
um, so that is the flip side, right? Is there an alternative to Vercel? That might be something worth
No, even
investigating.
if you have alternative to Vercel, still it cannot be process a file in backend, right? Because we have to have our files uploaded, right?
Yeah, I mean
Yeah,
you need some infra to
yeah, something
uh,
like blob or something we have to have where file is there, and we will be doing something. but still we have an infra to process the file.
Yeah, you'll need some infra to process it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. That's where the blockage is. Because in local testing, it's fine because we can do it in our current folder. It would be running fine.
Yeah.
But when it goes to the next level, it's difficult to understand.
Okay.
Sir,
So yeah.
just a point I wanted to make. So
Mm.
before yesterday's class, I did try to upload some files, some of the zip files onto my Versal application, and I was able to do it. And I executed the curl command, whereas the file was being taken directly from the Versal application itself. I did not do it exactly for this question, but for some other questions, I did try, and I
Okay.
was able to do that.
Okay. So that'll be interesting. Are you able to share your screen to show what you did?
Just a second, sir.
Okay. So Telvin, then maybe there is a way to do it.
There is a way because we have to push the file to our Git and then post it. That's the only way.
Yeah, yeah. Git is a place where you can push files, right? So that
No, we
that would work.
cannot do No, we cannot do that's the issue here. Because Vercel app cannot be hosted again and again. Like one time it can be hosted, we cannot change that repo
No, no,
again.
the repo, no. The repo doesn't need to change. That repo does not need to change. See, you can have more than one repo, right? One repo can just be a storage repo, correct? You basically use it as a storage medium. So through Vercel, you get the file and then you push the file onto a storage on Git on a separate repo that is not connected to the repo for the project. I mean, basically, you need to store the file somewhere, right?
Yeah, we have to store the file somewhere and it
Yeah.
should be available in Vercel as well. That's the thing here.
Yes, sir. So this, I hope my screen is visible.
Yeah. Just you can minimize your that. Yeah. This side.
Yes, sir. So these are the files that I pushed it to my GitHub repository, and then I created the Versal application. I mean, I linked my GitHub repository with this. So every time I update my repository, automatically it automatically deploys the latest version. So
Sure. Yeah. That's
not a
normally how
problem with that.
So that's how Versal integration works with GitHub anyway. When you push
Yes.
changes to it, it automatically uh, what you call reruns the.
Clarkton, here the issue is that we can not push that file into the same GitHub repo where the Vercel has been hosted. That's the issue. If you want to.
Mhm.
What she told is normally what we do for a JSON file, which we have to extract the correct phrases or something.
Okay. All right. Anyway, I've made a note of it.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
okay.
and
Apart
1.11. Yeah,
okay.
1.11 is that.
Apart from file processing,
Yeah, this is file
so
processing.
111.
Yeah,
Is my screen visible still or is it gone?
it's there. It's
So 111 CSS selectors. Okay.
This is HTML like backend we have to access.
Yeah. So here what you can do is you can fetch this page itself, right?
It cannot be fetched, right?
This page cannot be fetched, is it?
It's just an URL, right? Backend how will we fetch?
I mean, when you put a request to this, you will get a response that looks something like this,
It is
right?
not an API, right? It's just a web page.
No, I know it's not an API, but what will happen is in your response. Uh, so what will happen is you will get this right in your response. This file will come in your response. Whatever these
It's
sections and everything.
HTML you're telling.
Yeah, the HTML will come, right? Because this requires you to find all the divs, right? So it requires you to parse through the say file, for example. So here, right? It this comes in your request, right? This structure. Hello.
This will come as a no, that there is no request itself. That's the thing. They have just that phrase alone, that question alone. They don't have anything HTML.
So when you make a request to this endpoint, yeah, with your authentication cookie, you don't get this. You don't get this page, is it?
No, we cannot get that page. That's a waste. That's just a get right. It should it will just return 200 or something. It will not return that HTML, right? That's what my question is.
Just one point to add here. So based on the parcel that is defined in the request library or the HTTPX library, that should provide you the entire HTML setup. Like if this is a URL, the moment you have the URL added in and then do a parsing, if the parse is done for JSON, you'll have a JSON structure. If it's HTML, you'll get the entire HTML parser. And the status code 200 is basically the written code or the status alone, but the content or the load itself is different, right?
Yeah, so
Requests
content
will
is
have like,
yeah, content needs to be given as using some endpoint. We have to get the full content of this page, right? That's my
Yes.
point. What is that?
So but the content will come when you send this endpoint to the send this endpoint to the request that you're making, right, in your Python code. When you're using Beautiful Soup and you put the request, it will give you that it will give you this.
This page itself is like email based, right? That's what.
So the reason for the email is that's why you need to send an authentication cookie with it. If you remember, I think in week 2 or week 3, there are
Yeah,
some cookies that you need to send with your request. So
yeah,
there are
correct.
some so there are some sessions where we covered that. And effectively, what happens is you send. If I look at this, there are some cookies, right? Application. Right here. So yeah, so there are some cookies that come as part of the page. So what you do is you can send all the cookies back anyway. Once you send the cookie with the request,
Okay,
then you should be able to get the exact page for your G.
okay.
Yeah, because it will load the page then. Unless you're asking something else. Is that what you're asking? How do you get the DOM?
Yeah, DOM, that HTML.
Yeah. So the DOM, yeah. So the DOM will only come once you send the authentication cookie along with the request to the page.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and question number 10 we have. Oh, for that. Yeah, here it's telling paste that JS. We can extract the JSON, that's fine. We have to paste that in this HTML page. Then click on hash button and get that hash.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So if we
So
had endpoint for this one, it would be easier.
hmm. Yeah. So this is the endpoint, right? For this.
No, That's just that's just the URL. Endpoint means that will return some JSON something. I tried it. You can try using network tab also. Tried whether while pasting some JSON whether it's giving some endpoint or not. It's not giving anything. You can copy the previous question, JSON.
Yeah, it's okay. I see what you mean. This is probably running using some JavaScript, I expect,
Yeah,
because it won't actually go
yeah.
to.
Same thing for that. Our assignment page also same thing is happening. That's what the issue.
Okay.
Everything
Uh,
is JavaScript only.
yeah, no, I understood. Here, what I would suggest is, this function that it's using here. It's obviously doing a SHA-256 hash.
Yeah,
So all you have to do is, instead of actually trying to reach this endpoint, right, in your function, just find the SHA-256 hash of the JSON. That's it.
but our local hash will not match, right?
Why will it not match?
Because they have some other like to tell some other logic to generate this hashing. That's what I saw in backend.
Really?
I tried looking local hashing, but it's not working.
So you don't get the same value, basically.
No, it's different.
Ah,
I tried multiple times. It's different.
uh, I think it's probably because it. Okay. So one way to.
I will tell the
Yeah. So
exact.
yeah. So it's okay. So it's using. I think it's using this key in order to generate the hash. So it's using some sort of preamble and then
Yeah,
generating the hash.
it's encrypt.js. It's having something.
Pardon?
Encrypt.js is there. That file is having some key. Using that, it's been generated.
So you're saying it's not using this particular.
No, I think your inspect is not been.
Sorry, my inspect is not.
You are inspecting, right?
I can't quite hear what you said. Can you say that again, please? Sorry.
Yeah. I am able to see your page, but inspect tab is not being visible.
Oh, my inspect tab is not visible. Oh, sorry. I didn't
That's
see
what I
that.
can interpret, but
Okay. Let's
people are raising their hands. Let them speak.
Is that visible?
Yeah.
Okay. So here, see, I think this is the key. Okay. But in case you're not sure what this function does, is you can always copy this. Oops. You can always copy this and stick it in. And but this looks like the key to me. Okay, that they're using.
Yeah.
So I mean that's the key.
Yeah, that's some value.
Yeah. So what I would suggest is you just use this. Use how this function is constructed to create your hash. Has someone else has success with this particular question? which is GA1.
One
This
nine
one,
one nine
one
one
nine.
nine.
Has anyone else had
No,
success with this?
not 19, 110. It's
The one.
both are JSON functions. Okay.
So 110.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, if no one has tried it, try reconstructing that JavaScript. In fact, you can take that script itself, put it in Node. I mean, run it in Node on your desktop and see if you get the same output.
Okay.
Yeah, and you will know that's
Yeah.
that works.
Uh,
If
sir,
not, just
I
post on Discourse.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, someone was speaking. So
uh,
Sivans, yeah, is it Sivans? I don't know.
sir, it was me. I had a question regarding Vercel and file. So you discussed it earlier. I was not able to catch exactly what point you were trying to convey. What was not happening on Vercel?
Okay, so Telvin's concern was when a file is sent to the Vercel endpoint,
Yes,
that he
sir.
is not able to, as far as I understood, he's not able to open and unzip that file that has been sent to the Vercel endpoint.
Sir, so
Yeah.
what I
You
did
cannot
was,
process the file itself.
Yeah.
got it, sir. So I actually created a separate evaluate file and I put all the curl commands and I was able to perform, at least if not for all the questions, one or two zip question, I was able to get the output. Is that what you are talking about, or
No, you
Okay,
have
okay,
upload
okay.
that file to your own Git, right? That's why you're getting that answer.
okay?
So
Okay.
what he's
But
saying is this.
dynamically.
So say for example, right? Imagine this is the post that is made to the endpoint. Okay, your endpoint. Okay,
Yes, sir.
so I'm sending the request to your endpoint. Your endpoint is up and running on Vercel, and I send you the question as well as this file. This physical file also will come in the post. Have you tried this? Is basically the question.
Got it, sir.
We
I tried it for Vercel. I mean, I tried it for localhost, but I haven't yet tried it on Vercel because I was not able to build the application after a certain point. It exceeded the 250 MB for me. So for now, I stopped trying to do anything with Vercel itself.
Okay. I mean, the thing with Vercel is you don't, okay, one thing you should try to, so 256 MB is quite a lot. Okay. Don't use Vercel as a server. I mean, as in, don't use it to uh, do anything more than react to the endpoint itself. Um, have a service running on some separate server is what I would suggest, because I don't think you will be able to host the entire application on Vercel.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. It's got
Even if
some.
we host, it will be breaking, right? Every 5 or 3 seconds, it's been giving signals to itself, right?
Mhm.
Git to us.
I
So,
haven't. So personally, I have not tried pushing a file and processing it on there. But
no, we cannot
but
do it. It's serverless. That's the key part.
yeah. But in terms of running the application, Vercel is just supposed to be what? How would I say it? Something that just reacts to the endpoint, but all the processing will be done on how I envision it is. It will be done on some separate server somewhere. It'll take the request, send that request to a server that does the processing, and then it receives a response back from that server, and then it sends you back the answer, which is what you're looking for. All the
No, it
answers.
can process its own file, but it should have that file in its local.
Yeah,
That's
yeah, yeah. This is for this particular issue you're talking about.
yeah, yeah. No, in everything we need a file in backend. Then only vessel has been reacting.
Uh, everything does not require a file, right? Not all questions don't
No,
require.
no. I am telling vessel itself.
Hmm.
Vessel itself I am telling, and yeah, this This is the part. And one more thing I can tell you. Question number 18 is there, right? 118. Last question.
Yeah.
Yeah, here SQL query they are asking.
Yeah.
So from where is that actual question?
The actual question is this, right? This is the actual question.
So that will be the only question which will be given.
What is the total sales of all the items sold? I mean, the main thing is here the database is sitting on the. I think it's somewhere in here only, the DB, if I remember correctly.
Arjun has messaged some question.
Hi, Colton.
Yeah, yeah.
Can we host it in Amazon AWS because they are giving
You can
3
host
months
anywhere.
free?
Yeah. Anywhere you can host it. There is no restrictions on where you host it.
Yeah. And instead of domain name, can we give the IP as a
Yeah,
point for the
you
API?
can. Yeah, you can. Because see, on project 2, that's what I was telling earlier. This is just an assumption, right? All we require is that your application has a public endpoint.
Okay, Colton. Because they are giving
So
3 months free, we can use it for the project.
yeah,
Yeah.
then yeah. By all means, go ahead and use it.
Okay. Thanks, Colton.
I mean, that would simplify a lot of the issues. Yeah, it doesn't.
Yeah, that will
It
simplify
doesn't.
everything.
Yeah, I mean that's the main problem, right? Most people are saying reversal is very restricted. This was
Yeah.
just as an example. Your endpoint doesn't have to be Versa. It can be anything that provides you an endpoint. You can even get a cheap Raspberry Pi and run it 24/7. It takes very little current also. I think it takes something like 5 watts or something, less than a light bulb.
Okay. Thanks, Colton.
So, yeah. How many of you, by the way, just out of curiosity, how many of you know what a Raspberry Pi is?
Yeah, I've used in some projects actually. The minor
Yeah,
projects we have used.
yeah.
It's a
So this
process.
is,
I
yeah,
also
so Raspberry Pi is probably like the cheapest um, personal computer that you can possibly buy, right? And it's actually very capable and it's very, very cheap. I think you can get a maybe say like a Raspberry Pi 3 and it will cost you what will it go for these days? 20, so about 2000 rupees, you have a fully functioning computer. I'm not saying go spend 2000 rupees to do this project, but my point is that it is, you can use it for a lot of things, not just for doing project. It's a fully functioning, I mean, most people put Linux on it. It's a fully functioning Linux system and you can do quite a lot with it. And it's worthwhile. Okay, and like I said, it consumes very little power. About I think it's something like 5 watts of power. When you compare a light bulb, even an LED light bulb takes I think more energy than a Raspberry Pi. So and the size, you can get Raspberry Pis that are as big as your finger. Right, a fully functioning personal computer the size of a finger, and you can even run it using a battery. So if you don't have, if you have a lot of power cuts in your place, right, you can have it attached to a battery and it will run on a battery. That's how amazing it is. It's called a Raspberry Pi, in case you're not aware. But the price I told you, that's for like a new Raspberry Pi, right? So there may be used ones out there. But I usually find it very hard to believe that someone would sell a used Raspberry Pi, because it's such a fun device to be able to do that. So they use it a lot in education, obviously, because of how cheap it is. Um, yeah, I mean, so just trying to. Yeah, so this is an example. This is how small it is. Um, it's like really tiny, and this is the price of a brand new one. This comes with Wi-Fi.
$15.
Yeah, so this is brand new, comes with a Wi-Fi. Okay, and it even has I think a HDMI or USB port or whatever it is. So uh, very super cheap. And then of course you can do all sorts of IoT work on it. This is a bit more fully fledged machine. Again, this is the size of a credit card. Okay, comes with a 64-bit quad core processor, wireless LAN, Bluetooth. I mean, um, it has a HDMI port, so you can connect it to a monitor. And of course, you can also build cases and stuff for it, so you get full kits as well. But yeah, super cheap, and it's a fully functioning computer, right? And you can use it for a lot of experimentation and just education purposes. So yeah, running something like this hardly takes any power. You can have a fully functioning server that does your project on that. Okay, you don't have to worry about Vercel or things like this. So that's just a little sideline. Okay, right. I think Prasanna's on the call, right?
Yes, Kantan.
Okay, will you take over, Prasanna? The rest of this session?
Any other questions?
Yes, sir. So, I have a question. I'm still trying to understand how the final evaluation will happen. Like, as in, we do have a public API endpoint, and then from there, where exactly will the request? How exactly will the request be sent to the endpoint? I understand that this is the format, but where exactly would it be sent from?
So that would be sent from our side, right? So this is, I mean, more like application endpoint is something which you built and have it stored. Like the evaluation can be done from our end, like whatever we send it.
And so during your evaluation, the evaluation from your side, you will upload the file and you will check for that particular question.
Ideally, that's the case, yes. But I can reconfirm that again. So generally, when it comes to, let's say, project one data gen, we had a data gen script and we had all those generated data, right? So here endpoint. So coming back to the quest here, the let's say correlation. You have to find out correlation between two data sets. The idea here is the file would be shared as a part of parameter when we send it, but I'll reconfirm that. I think that's the ideal way. All we need is application can handle the logical deployment, whereas with respect to file sharing, it should be passed as a parameter. That's the ideal scenario.
Understood, sir. Why I'm asking is, so we do build the entire code for all the 57 questions. I just want to
Mhm.
know, like, from my end, how do I try to simulate a similar environment in which it is actually being evaluated? For that reason, I asked.
No, no, totally understood. So right now, I mean, we believe this is how it will be, but we'll reconfirm that again once again. We'll have it in a discourse post, or we can confirm it again over email on what the specific evaluation script will be.
Got it, sir. Thank you.
Yeah.
So
I mean, just to clarify,
we
right?
will show and
So,
demo also.
yeah. See, to clarify, how we'll evaluate is we will send a curl request like this, right, from our server or whichever machine we have. It will contain the question and it will contain a file, and then your server should respond back to us with this JSON request. Sorry, with this JSON body. This is what should come back to us. JSON with the answer in quotes, and then whatever the answer is supposed to give should come back like this. That's how we evaluate it. If this matches what we expect, then you're past the test case, and we'll send like 4 or 5 of these kind of requests, random ones.
So the files will be shared as a hyperlink to download, so something like that, or
I mean, currently, as it is shown on here, it's an actual file upload that will come part of the post, because these files are very tiny anyway. They're not very large files. So that's currently how the project 2 is structured.
okay, got it.
File for
Pardon?
everything. All the questions.
If the question, yeah, if the question requires a file,
Because the maximum
then
size so is 64 like MB for a file. It was about like extract or like grip the bash comments using it. GA,
sorry, Telvin, I didn't quite understand you. On my end, they are breaking up quite a lot. So I don't know if it's my internet or what.
yeah. GA4 or 5, we had a question where we'll be gripping out and finding which log file have the similar dates or something like that.
Yeah.
GA4.
Yeah, so those files were very big, but we are not going to send very large files to test.
Okay. So we'll
Yeah.
not be having that much big
Yeah.
files.
Yeah. So the file size, you don't worry, because we will send very tiny files in.
Okay.
So instead of sending, for example, a 64 megabyte file, we may just send you some few KB file. Yes, Premdeep.
It is written that the response must be a JSON object with a single text string field. So in few questions we have to the answer is a image. So it will be a base64 encoding string as the answer.
Yeah. You would send back a base 64 encoded string.
Okay. And the project deadline is 31st March, right?
Yes, I believe so.
Because
31st
in
March.
a mail came in the
Okay, yeah.
morning 10 a.m.
I
10
I
a.m.
Yeah, I do apologize for those mails. Those mails are not actually sent by the TDS team. Okay? It's sent by admin, and admin have a calendar that they look at, and they were not informed of the date change. So they just, as a matter of their duty, they send out reminders, and
Okay.
we did not update them with the information that our dates have changed. So that's why they send out that reminder. Just ignore
Okay.
that. It's just a reminder from admin, but this is the actual deadline. Okay, 31st.
Okay.
Clark for the image question, what did you say? I did not get it.
For image answers, answer that requires a compressed image back, you send it back as a base 64 encoded URL. I mean, a base 64 encoded string.
Okay. Yes, as an URL itself, you are telling to send.
Yeah, so I think there's a question where you have to compress an image, right?
Yeah, no, we have two questions. One, compress an image. Second one, rearrange the image. GA 5 10,000. Last question.
Yeah. So anything that requires an image to be sent back or something like that, right? Just all we need is you can send it back to us as a base 64 encoded string.
Or as an URL itself, we can send. Directly.
No, URL, don't send it as a URL. Send it as a base 64
Okay.
encoded string.
Yeah.
Because
So,
we specifically say send a singles text string field, right?
So for GA 3, the last question, make the write a prompt to make the LLM say yes. So will that prompt be actually be we have to pass the prompt through an LLM, and then how
We are,
will the
yeah,
evaluation for that question happen?
I'll just stop you there. We are not going to send that question. Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, we are not going to, that's not going to be a question. We will evaluate. So don't worry about that.
Okay, sir.
We are not using the question.
Yeah, that one question we are not going to send it as a request to you.
Okay. Actually, I had the answer. Okay.
That's well and good if you've got it.
Now, but the
Uh,
API key we have to pass. That's the only concern.
And for one of the questions, we have a question based on Google Sheets. So for that question, should we make use of Google Sheets API?
which one is it?
No, I think for Excel and Google Sheets, you need not
Yes.
want to simulate the or automate the Excel sheets. Just solve the question using formula with Python.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay, sir.
yeah, definitely. Not, yeah, these things we don't expect you to actually use the sheets, okay? Just we want the answer, that's all.
We can use NumPy also, right? Directly.
You can
Yep.
use NumPy, you can use whatever programming logic you want here.
Okay. So this question will be static. No parameters will be changing.
Uh, that I'm not sure whether it's static or not.
If it's dynamic, then we have to use that Google Sheets, right?
No, you don't have to use Google Sheets, right? I mean, the main thing is maybe you could, for example, have have the see these things will be the same, right? Some array constraint sequence and all that, whatever it is.
Oh, that would be same. That's what static variable
Yeah.
numbers are fine. But I'm asking the for question
Now,
for
when you say dynamic, so the data would be randomized, but when you say dynamic, because the expectation is an answer. So let's say it will be a math equation that will be requested. If you see the array creation, and then the final answer is going to be a numerical number.
yeah,
So
correct.
derive that number using Python formulas so that let's say if there is a new data, randomized data added in, still it will populate the right answer using the Python logic.
Yeah, data means you are telling just the numbers, right? Not that word sequence or something.
Uh,
Yeah, these commands won't
yes.
change.
Yeah,
Yeah,
correct.
yeah.
That's what the clarity we want.
Yeah, these
Uh,
commands won't change.
and one more question, Carlton. Like same as project one, we can just use the LLM to solve everything. No, like the function, it can create the own
Of
functions. So
course, of course, of
uh,
course. I mean, my advice is yeah, if you can collaborate with each other and just each one decide, okay, I'm going to work on this particular question and hard code the answer also, that's fine. If certain questions are a little more tricky to hard code, just use the LLM to solve it. Yeah.
And so for GA4, question number 6, there are do we have to parameterize for both the topic as well as the number of points, or just the topic only? Because in one place in that question, it's highlighted in a different color, but above the input box, it's not highlighted in a different color. So yes, sir. For this question, hacker, Linux, Python, that is parameterized. What about the points, sir? Is that also parameterized?
Yeah, this number I think is parameterized. This 52.
Okay, sir. Yeah.
So yeah, because it's in pink, right?
Mm-hmm.
That tells me that this is probably parameterized, and this is also probably parameterized. These tags. Does everyone have item and link? Might want to have a look and see. And whether this keyword hacker is parameter. My suspicion is these 4 items are parameters, depending on what email is used as the key.
Last time, can we get all the parameterized variables and all? Is there any way? No, it's really difficult because I am not able to understand which is actually question itself. It's too much of paragraphs.
So this question is, see, there is an API, okay? The whole point of this question is to access this API, and then you have to. I think this is one question where giving the details of the API to the LLM will actually help you answer the parameterized part of this question, so that it can solve the question for you.
No,
That's just
not just this question I'm asking. Generally, like we are having bigger paragraphs. Okay, actual task could be just a question, but we are not able to understand what would be the evaluation script or some evaluation question itself, which you be passing. Because here the question is, what is the link to latest file? That's the question. Which I expect.
That'll be the question.
So what is that pretext is the necessary thing which we want, right? So
these things you're talking about, right?
Yeah, these will be passed.
I mean, I suspect if this was the question, if it was me sending the request, I most likely I would send this whole thing as the question. Because it gives you the whole context, right?
Yeah, that's what. So I need to understand every question is difficult to understand. Some questions is it starts from a long paragraph, then it's telling to find out this one. Project 2 itself is something. I am not able to understand how it works at all. It's really difficult.
See, I think this, again, the approach, the whole idea behind Project 2, what Anand wants is people to work together and solve parts of it. And whoever is good at solving certain parts can solve those things, and others can do the simpler ones. The idea is to collaborate, find people to work with and collaborate and get it. That's the whole goal of Project 2.
Yeah, it's fine. Just questions at least question list. Can we get answers?
The question list is the GAs are the question list, right?
No, that they are having questions, right? Last one is the question. Previous one is the like description of that question, like that.
Yeah, I mean, you won't need all this. Okay, it probably starts from your task. Your task. Your task. So this gives you the context for the question, right? So that's where the question starts, I would say. Create a schedule, GitHub action. The workflow should be blah, 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 blah. This is the thing. And whatever this workflow is, you should produce an answer here.
Okay. So after your task, we have to reject it to get the question.
Yeah. That's how I would approach it in terms of understanding what's required. See, there are 2 parts to it, okay? The first part is know which question is being asked. So you could even hard code the keywords in the question. So for example, if the request comes in and it asks you, what is the link to the hacker news, right? If that exists, then you know, okay, it is GA4 question 6. Now you have a function that deals with that question, that produces the answer.
Fine. That's deterministic. That's solved.
Yeah, absolutely deterministically.
Parameters. Determining which function, that's easier because we can use
so extracting the parameters, you can use an LLM to extract parameters for you. That can always be done because parameters are very in that sense very straightforward for your question. See, if your question needs to solve something, it will solve it a single way only, right? A function will have only these inputs to it. So it will have this keyword, it will have two tags, and it will have these points. So your solving function will, for this question, will have 4 parameters. So you can extract the parameter values using an LLM. That will be very easy to do. LLM is very good at extracting that kind
So
to fit.
so we have to create a function with all parameters to handle it. Like that you're drilling.
I mean, so here the parameter would be OSM ID, something along these lines. Yeah.
Here the actual parameter is the city name.
What is the maximum that the bounding box?
And control.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what.
Yeah.
So context is different, right? So we are not able to understand which is a parameter.
So you see that will come from you having tackled this question before, right? So when you've seen this question before, you know, to solve this question, you would have written a small little Python program that gets you these details, right? And then this is the final answer that should come out, the maximum that it will be.
Basically, it's like we use the LLM to extract the parameters and then do whatever we plan to do by determining which question it is.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, it's a lot of work, but again, it's not never meant to be a one-person job. I mean, I would say if it's a one-person job, it's very lengthy to do it. And the other thing that will help you is, I think they demonstrated agentic coding yesterday, right? So make heavy use of that. That will help you to quickly solve several questions. Put together a GitHub repo with some collaborators, and you all just split the task among yourself. You know, if one task is a hard one, let only one person work on that particular question. Get others to work on easier questions. You know, 3-4 easier questions. And together you will build it together, right? That's sufficient. Remember, there's no plagiarism type issues here, right? In TDS, the learning experience is to build things together. And personally, this is, I feel, very too big for one person to do, given all the responsibilities that people have. So,
Exactly.
yeah.
So
Just work with it.
for this question, what I did was I did not use LLM per se, but I identified the city and the country parameters using regular expression itself. I tried and
Yeah,
tested it for a couple of combinations. I think it worked for me.
yeah.
So, do we have to look at LLM integration
No,
for
no, 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 no,
parameter
no, no,
retrieval?
no. I just gave a suggestion. That's all. In case the question was complex and extracting parameters was difficult. But yeah, regex is very faithful. it will, see. We are not going to ask questions like in project one, okay, where the words could be different. Here we will ask you the exact same type of question. We are not going to change the wording or anything. That's why you can hard code things, like you said, using regex to find out which
Yeah, but
question.
parameter will be unknown, right? Which are the possible parameters? That's the only
Yeah, but with regex, you can always match the word before the parameter and the word after the parameter. So the thing that you extract in between those two words, that will be your way to extract parameters precisely. You can do that using regex. Because it will always say in the country, right? There's never going to be in the city or something. It will be in the country, something, a parameter, on. That's it, right? So your regex will basically look for a string that is in between country and on. Okay, I'm going to drop off the call. If you have any more questions, then you can ask person that is he still on the call? No, he's not. Okay. I think think that. Are there any other questions, real quick, before I end this call today? Arjun, you have a question. Sorry, Arjun, I didn't see. He's also not on the call. Okay. Okay. Was there anything else? Okay. Tomorrow's session, they will continue working through examples on project 2, right? And you can ask these same issues that you're facing to them, and then they will help you solve through it. Yeah, tell me.
And for GS6, we had issues with options and all. Is that
Yes.
resolved?
Yeah, so that's been resolved. The question, so what you're supposed to do is in the answer that, so I'll show G6 anyway. I can pull it out. So GA6, these two questions, you're supposed to find the value that has the absolute highest correlation. So let's say, for example, here 0.95 is the highest. Let's say that's about
Only these two questions are issue.
Yeah, only these two questions. Yeah. So what you have to do is find the one that has the highest absolute correlation. That's what the question should have said.
Absolute
so that will be a single answer.
No, I got single answers for both the questions.
Oh, okay.
I had issue in question number 4 and 10, I guess.
4 is it?
Yeah, 4. The answer was not matching Excel for me.
Oh, right.
I tried Excel, I tried Colab, both it was not matching.
Have you posted on Discourse about question 4?
No, I am trying it out. Okay.
Yeah, post on Discourse, because if anyone else has the same issue, then they might be able to point you to what.
And last question also, I had, why we are not able to do anything because we have only shape function, but we need much more things for this one.
For this last question, is it? Anyone has had issues with question 10? Anyone solved it?
But actually, one thing is that I pasted the question and LLM gave me direct answer itself. I'm not sure whether that's correct.
Okay, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know whether that understood like 1,600 students are being asking answers and it interpreted the most frequent answer.
I mean, one thing LLMs nowadays do is they actually write and run Python code as well. So in the background, they run like their own version of an interpreter.
No, I did not pass the file itself. Then how it goes?
Yeah.
So for question 1 and 2, we're supposed to proceed with the absolute closest value, is it?
Not closest, absolute highest correlation.
Got it, sir.
So let's say one number was minus 0.12 and the other one was 0.03. Okay. And we're getting both these answers, but the absolute highest would be the minus 0.12, right?
Isn't it supposed to be the positive value, sir?
Yeah, positive one we had.
Positive only. But what will happen is we want so let's say you get two values that you get average distance of minus the relation, the correlation will be minus 0.12, let's say. Okay, you got that one. And on here, the option also was like minus 0.12. But then you got another one that said engine capacity 0.03. You got both these values. But the absolute
Actually,
highest
why,
Yes, sir. Yes,
correlation.
sir. Got
we
it,
have to
sir.
solve this question? The answer question itself is asking the impact of mileage, right? So directly cannot we select mileage itself?
No, it's the relationship between specifically you will evaluate the impact of mileage on these things, right?
Yeah, on price retention. That's the thing.
Yeah. And so then use the correlation.
Actually, I did the
Sorry.
same thing
Yeah.
process, but actually now I am understanding the answer itself in question itself.
Yeah. And price retention. So the correlation is the price the price retention is resale price to original
No,
price.
that is the formula, but we have to
Yeah.
get the correlation between mileage and the retention. That's the question. And only option mileage we are having two, then that's the actual answer, right?
No, sir, but here in this question, it's actually the impact of mileage, average daily distance traveled, and engine capacity, all the three parameters over price retention percentage. So it won't
Yeah.
be just mileage.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is consider the highest magnitude, irrespective of the sign,
Yes.
the absolute value.
Yes.
Got it,
Yes.
sir.
Yes. Okay. I think we'll call it. We'll wrap up this session. Okay. And if you have any other further questions, just post on Discourse, because then others also will know if a resolution has come for it. So this is the resolution for these two questions. It wasn't clear in the question, so that's what is expected, even if you get multiple things matched. Only one of them may be the correct answer.
Thank
Okay,
you, sir.
thanks. Okay, thanks, guys. Have a good night.